Haley Joel Osment made his mark in Hollywood before he was 10 years old. He's had roles in some of the most iconic films of the past 2 decades. Many people remember him as a child who saw dead people. In the 1999 film The Sixth Sense, he became one of the youngest actors ever nominated for an Oscar for that role. And today, he can be seen in the HBO hit comedy series Silicon Valley. In it, he plays a virtual reality investor, Keenan Feldspar. Let's take a look.
Know who you're talking about.
Dream Hall. Hey, man. I don't know who you think you are, but you're not supposed to be at this table.
I don't know who you think you are, but men aren't supposed to grow tits, and yet there they are atop your little paunch.
Who the are you?
Ehrlich Bachman. Who the are you?
I'm Keenan Feldspar. And I like on you. Get out of there. I want to sit next to this guy.
Oh my God, we're lucky to welcome Haley Joel Osment to CBSN today. I am admittedly geeking out a little. I'm a big fan. I love this show. I'm all caught up, haven't missed an episode.
Great.
But you said you were a big fan of the show.
Oh, yeah.
So this must be such a cool thing to be on it.
It really is. Ever since it came out, I was a big fan of the show. And yeah, like doing a scene with Ehrlich is really crazy. I'm surprised we can show that scene on morning television.
Yeah. Well, we beeped it out. We beeped it out.
Yeah, just a little.
Plus, this is on the internet, so it's okay. It's the Wild West, right? So you said you were a fan before. So is it sort of bizarre to be on a show that you were a fan of, and then now you're suddenly acting?
It is, yeah. And you want to, do a good job and slot into the tone of a show that you've been used to watching. But I knew Thomas a little bit before, and Kumail a bit from seeing their shows at Largo and UCB and stuff like that. And they're all just such nice and welcoming guys. It made it a really easy environment to sort of come into.
And they're all, comedians here. These guys are hilarious. Each one of them, and they have their own careers. Like, they do stand-up and everything. So is it so fun on set? Is everyone cracking up? I feel like that's what it would be like behind the scenes.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of. They're all such skilled improvisers, and it's very funny on camera. I'd say Zach Woods kind of is the toughest person to keep a straight face around. His little tags on the end of the scene are just so surreal and funny. Like, yeah, I loved every day working there.
Do you get feedback from people actually working in Silicon Valley? I sort of imagine all these bros who take themselves entirely too seriously and are offended at being made fun of.
Just this week in New York, several times I have run into people on the street who are like startup guys who are like, let's get a picture shaking hands like we're doing a deal. And I was like, I don't think you watched to the end of the episode. Like, he's not the best guy to do a deal with, but all right, yeah. Not so much me, but talking to Mike Judge and all these guys, like, they've been doing the show for several years, and they had a screening for Elon Musk and everybody in season 1. I think Elon Musk said, like, Mike Judge cannot understand Silicon Valley till he goes to Burning Man. I was like, I went, and it was cool, but I think Mike Judge understands Silicon Valley pretty well.
I was seeing a little bit online how some fans of Silicon Valley are now, because you're in this season, are now just sort of putting the pieces together that, oh my gosh, this is the Sixth Sense kid. So what do you think about that? Is that surprising to you? And what is that like for you? How are you recognized now walking down the street?
Well, the beard I grew just because I wanted to a couple of years ago, and it kind of worked as a bonus disguise, and now I've ruined that by appearing with it on television. So
now
I have to find something new, a shaved head or something. But yeah, as an actor, it's really exciting because it's fun to disappear into a role. So like when we did the Entourage movie, a lot of people said like, oh, I didn't realize it was you until like the credits. And it's like, that's kind of what you want to hear sometimes. And it's fun to have, those diverse kind of roles.
So people still walk up to you and say, I see dead people. And does that drive you crazy?
It doesn't drive me crazy. It's just surprising to me. It's a nice surprise how long a life the movie has had. I was at Dodger Stadium and they had the players doing like movie quotes in the in-between innings thing, and Yasiel Puig said the line one time when I was there, and I was like, oh. All right.
You know what I was thinking as I was kind of like reading more about all the stuff that you've been doing, and of course you go back to revisiting The Sixth Sense and some of the other movies you did as a kid. You were such a good child actor. Like, it's really unbelievable. And I wondered if there's a difference in your performance style, how you prepare, compared to what you did when you were a kid, because I don't even know how you were that good, compared to acting as an adult?
Well, thank you. I mean, I got really lucky because my dad studied theater in college. He ran a theater on Santa Monica Boulevard in the 80s, and he was my first and most important teacher, and just teaching me, you know, how to prepare and study a character, and you know, studying scripts and everything. And I actually went to the experimental theater wing at Tisch at NYU for college, so I got some firsthand stage training there, and just it was a lot of fun. And just as an actor, you always want to try and improve upon things.
Yeah.
I feel lucky because the things I learned when I was young still apply, but have just been adding more experience to it as we go along.
But you started at 4. I know. I hate to use this. I know it's corny, but what was your motivation?
Well, luckily those roles were like you're just being a kid, so it's not too difficult. I learned to tie my shoes on that movie. So, yeah. Did you? Yeah. The Holiday Inn in Beaufort, South Carolina, 1993. Yeah.
Very cool. So talking about your early stuff, you pretty dramatic. All right, and you've been doing more and more sort of comedic roles, a little bit lighter roles. Where are you going next?
I have a show on Amazon called Oasis. We just put out the pilot. You can watch that on Amazon without Prime. So if that gets picked up in July, we'll go back to South Africa where we shoot it. And that's a very philosophical, very interesting sci-fi series. So comedy's been a lot of fun. It's a great time for comedy. But yeah, there's some other new shows in the mix. And yeah, just always trying to find new roles. All of them have had the beard recently, so I don't know when this is going to change. But
no, you've got to keep it.
I was going to ask you, because this is like, I mean, right now it's a little sort of coiffed, but it gets a little gnarly on the show.
Yeah, that was like 6 months of unfettered growth. Because on Oasis I play a weed farmer in the future, so I just like let the hair go. And when I got to Silicon Valley, I thought Mike Judge would want me to cut it, and he was like, actually, this is kind of perfect. So it just keeps rolling along.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you one more question about your character in Silicon Valley. You said, you know, all these sort of startup guys come up to you and they want to shake your hand and take this great picture for their Instagram or for the gram. Take it for the gram. You normally think, hey, you didn't watch the end of the episode. Can we talk a little bit about your character? Because he could be a little sneaky, diabolical.
I don't think he's intentionally too manipulative. As he's saying to Richard in this clip right here, he's like, I don't know how I do it, but I just make people do what I want, you know, like they just end up doing it. They put a very, Alec Berg and Mike and everybody who designed the character put this really funny character trait in him where he just purely wants to feel good all the time, and when he doesn't feel good, he's confused. And unfortunately for the people around him, he has hundreds of millions of dollars to indulge everything and can go to the other side of the world to kite surf until he feels better. So it's kind of like a volatile thing to be around when you're with somebody like that.
Are people really like that in Silicon Valley? I don't know.
I think some people are. Yeah, that's their whole exploration of the show. They're like, will the hippie-ish Steve Jobs mentality prevail, or will the newer like libertarian money-hungry mentality prevail? And the answer is still to be determined. Yeah.
No matter what, it's like really one of the funniest shows on television.
It's so great. I feel so happy to be on it.
Thanks to every one of the actors, including you. It's so great. Haley Joel Osment, thanks for talking with us.
Nice talking to you guys. Thank you.